That's it. Okay, we can continue. I hope that you understand this part because it's the most difficult part to understand, but it's easy if you think about it. Now let's go to the profile page. The profile page contains some empty information such as the name. Let's say, okay, let's make some explication on the profile page. I just create a state for every uploading because the first time I say that I want to make some loader, but I was tired and I haven't put some loader. I just make a condition. If its loading variable is equal to true, we display this loading, and if it's not equal to true, we display this one or all of this one, and it's full. And I've passed all of this in a constant that I have called render view, and bottom here I just render this constant. It's not very complicated. I am sure that you can do this. So let me just make a turn. I have created render view constant, and this constant, it will be equal to the loading. If the application are on loading state, by default it's false, so it will never be in loading state. If the application are in loading state, we display this loading test. But if we are not in the loading state, I display the image, the user image, the logout button, and just some text, and all of this is the content that I create for my CSS to work. Just my CSS. So don't be afraid. It's just, you can just provide them some empty page and work about it. It's simple. Okay, now let's working on the profile page because we end with a login page. Let me close the login page. And on the profile page, it's the same thing that the login page. We need to make some method to check the login, so it's just the same thing. So let's just copy all of this with a use effect and go to the profile page and paste it here. And remember, it's just the same function, the same function, use effect check login, that check if a user are logged or not. But in this case, it's not this, because remember, if we are not logging, we don't want the user to have access to this profile page. So let's make some example. Let's go to application and delete the token that we store. And when we delete this token and we refresh, we keep stay on this page, and it's not a good thing. When we are not logging, we don't want to have access to this page. And how we know if we are logging or not? If we have some users token available in the browser storage. And so we need to make the same thing, but in the opposite. Here we will check if there are not some users token. And if there are not some users token, we set login variable. Let's go to login to, and we need to take verse 2 again. You already type him, so don't worry. And C is the hot context. And just call navigate to is equal to use navigate, and use navigate come from React Router DOM, if you remember. Okay, we call the login, the set login, and all of this. And here we need to make a contract to check if there are not some users token. And if there are not some users token, we don't want to redirect the user to the profile page, but we want to redirect it to the login page, because we have checked, and in the browser storage we haven't some token that have been saved. And if you refresh this and we refresh, let's wait. Why my application takes so more time to load? What I make wrong? Let's access is defined, but there is new here. Just see this image. React use effect has a missing dependency check login. This is a check login. Why you don't see it? So let's take set loading. Just go. I will launch it again. So let's clear it again and start the server one more time. And now that's it. If you will try now to go to the profile page, we are automatically redirected to the login page. And why this login page doesn't appear? Because in navigation we don't provide some login path. So just copy this, and here let's add login. And not says me that I need to restart again the server. Oh god, why me? So okay, let's run it one more time again. Just go. And let's try again to go to profile, and we are redirected to this login page that appear now. And I hope you understand, it's the same thing but the opposite. On the login page we have some methods that check if in the local storage we have users token, but in the profile page the method is the inverse. We verify if there aren't some users token, and if there aren't some users token, we redirect the users to the login page. And here, if you want to display some console load, is not you are connected, is you are not connected. And the set login function will pass to false because you are not connected. And that's it. It's just this that we need to do on this. Okay, now we need to send some request to the backend to get the connected users information. So let's create a new function that we call users info. It will be in asynchronous function. Yes, it will be asynchronous function. And we will use Axios one more time again. And here is Axios. The method is post, and we can take the same thing from the login. The endpoint is here. Okay, and for get the user information, the method is get and not post. Okay, using forget the user's information, many endpoint needs to get some errors, and when I built mine, I just specify some error that I want. The error that I want is authorization. You need to provide some authorization, but forget this information. I need to send to the backend the token that is give me when I was logging, when I logged the user. So for send this, I say I need to call the bearer, and the token exists in the local storage. So I need to get it now. So I can just say local storage get item, and the item that I want to get from local storage is users token. And like this is, I think it's all. Okay, it's all. And we have some vein, and when we make a vein, we get some response, and just from this response, I just say I want to make the set loading variable to false, and the set user, let's say before starting let's say by default the loading is true now. And here we import the log and we set log. We need now to get the user, because we need to update this user to store the information from the connected user. And if we go to the backend, let's just make a test. Here I will just make this API/user and send some requests. I get all of this from the backend. The backend return me all of this, and it's all of this that I want to keep in this users variable. So we just import it is user, and the method is set user. It will be equal to the same auth context. And when we get the response from the user info, we need to set the user, and the set user method will be equal to response, and it's just the data, because it's this that we get, and that will pass some data. So we get response data. And this method we need to check to launch it when we come on this profile page every time, or I don't know how we can call this, every time. So now let's try to log in again. gmail.com, the password 123456. Let me open my console and click on console and click on login. Now you notice that I have this loading test that appear. And here it says that method not allow. What craziness I do again? The endpoint is this one. Let's go to check what I have typed. Sorry, it's not logging here. The endpoint is this one, API user. And now if you refresh, you will notice that we get that's it. And if we go to a network and we click on users, we see that we get the users information from here. And if there's information that we want to display here, we want to display the user and the user's email information that we get from the back end. Okay, and by writing set user, it will be equal to response data. We keep all the users information that come from the backend in this users property, so we can access them easily here. Just instead of user, let me create, and it will be user, and here it will be user name, and here it will be user email, because we save all of the information that come from the backend in the set users method that update this users variable. Okay, and now if you refresh, you notice that you get this information is John Doe, and the email is johndoe@gmail.com, and that's it. It's working perfectly. The last thing that we need to do is to log out the user, and for log out the user is something very simple. I think that you understand how to log out the user. You need just to create a constant, a new method, and you call it under logout. And this way it will not be equal to an asynchronous function. It's just some function, and we need just to remove the user token from the local storage. And when we remove are done, we need to navigate to retrieve the user on the login page, and is all. And this under logout function, we need to use it on this logout. Let's say we have some on click, and when we click on this, we want to call the under logout function, and nothing will change. If you refresh, we have this loading, waiting the information from the back end, and when we get the information, we display the profile page. And let's make a turn and try to go to the login page. We can't go back to the login page. And now let's try to log in the user. Let's choose on under login. Let's display a console log. You are log out. I don't know this like this. And let's click on log out and display my just delete and click on logout, and I have Here you are logout and we are redirect on the login page, and if you try again to go to a profile page, it doesn't work. That's it, and we have some error. And that's it. That's how you can manage easily some authentication system using React and the context API. If you have some preoccupation or another question, you can pass it in the comment. And if you are not, you haven't subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. You will help me understand better English for better tutorial. So thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe and share this video with your friend, or I don't know who you know that it will be help. So ciao, and see you for the next tutorial that will be about React Native on Android development. I want to mix between React and React Native. So ciao.